What's up, profitable stylists? We have a list of things to talk about today, and that's going to be pretty fun. We're excited about it. Oh, five. We have five. We only have 5 things to talk about today.
It's still a list. Hey, I'm going to save the most controversial for last. 5 topics. Won't tell you number 5 till the end. Hopefully you don't accidentally touch on it as we're going through. But number 1, well, what's the title? What's the title? The 5 things.
The 5 things I wish I knew before I finished school. So we all talk about starting our career. We all talk about moving forward in our career. And we're always talking about how to grow our career. We don't realize we're playing catch up our entire career. We're never out the gate ahead of the curve. We're always trying to get ahead of the curve. Yeah. So that's kind of the things we're going to talk about. And make no mistake, this is things that both of us, all of us have learned throughout our careers, right? We could still apply. I'd be interested to hear from all of you how many of these things still apply to your current place now.
So number 1, when I graduated from school, it was getting that first job, walking into that first salon was so traumatizing to me that I still remember it to this day. So I wish I would have known that starting that first day, well, first I wish I'd have known it was like starting over. I wish that I knew. I'm naming number 1. It's like starting over. No one follows me. I want to cry. And I'm not that good at doing hair. And I should have messed up more while I was in school. So those are the things that hit me right off the bat. I'm thinking I get into the salon. It's like going from lower school into high school. You get there and you're like, oh, goodness, not all my friends came to the same high school. I don't know anybody. I don't know the teachers. It's new material. And, in hair school, you're that senior, whatever, however good or bad you are, you're still way better than all the other ones that are starting school behind you. You're getting out, you're the rock star. I'm graduating. You go into a salon and you are nobody. You are not that good. You're like, wow, these guys are foil highlighting really fast. They're doing amazing work. They're all doing it really quick, and I suck. And now I feel super scared. I wish I would have practiced speed and technique more in school. I wish I'd have messed up more in school because now people are paying for it, and I'm probably going to mess up a little more right now. Yeah, you wish you'd have messed up a little more in school because we talked about this. What do you think?
I really wish I messed up more in school. I was a little spoiled. At the time when I went to school, I was in a graduating class of 63 students. It was us 3 guys and 60 girls. So I was very distracted. I wasn't paying attention to my, performing my daily activities and duties, filling up my time card, And, it was bad. It was bad because I am a color genius now, but I almost didn't go into color because I suck so bad at doing color.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, a little not well-known fact about me is that I was not that good at hair, and cutting is my strength now. But cutting was my hugest weakness getting out of school. I would rather apply color. We didn't even do foil highlights 30 years ago when I graduated. They were just coming on the scene, so I could pull hair through a cap pretty good, but I didn't know how long to process it. So I went into doing artificial nails mostly because I took a shop class in high school, woodworking, and sanding a nail with that looked like sandpaper to me. I know they called them nail files, but I was like, I get coarse, medium, and fine grit. I can make that thing shine like a fine piece of furniture. Now, as soon as I learned how to keep that finger from bleeding all around that beautiful nail, then I was amazing. So when I got out of school, 7 years, hit it hard doing fiberglass nails mostly, and did a good job. And slowly got good at doing hair, which will bring up some of the other topics because number 2 is one of your favorite topics. Is I wish I had a better plan. when you graduated from school, you wish you'd have known, because we talked about it. I'm going to list out my things real quick, and then I think you're going to have a lot more to add to this one. But who knew this industry is so huge? That was coming right out of your mouth. It was just like there's so many ways to go, not just hair in a salon, but things like what we're doing right now. Who knew this existed? I mean, it didn't exist when I was doing hair 30 years ago, but even then,
Yeah, right.
Talk about all the avenues you can go, because you're getting pretty passionate about that.
It really was mind-blowing. Okay, you learn how to do a haircut, a hair color, a couple of nails, maybe a couple of facial manipulations, and that's pretty much it. A couple of blow dries, a crap ton of perms and roller sets when I was there, and a bunch of shampoos, right? And then they're like, okay, now you're getting ready to graduate. Do you want to be a hair cutter or do you want to be a colorist? Which one? Well, what happened to all the other stuff that I just learned? You're not going to do much of that, but that's just for state board.
Go further. No.
I'm getting to that. Because then I'm in the salon. Okay, fine. And I'm cutting, I'm coloring, but then I go to a hair show. Why? Because I need hours and because I heard there was a show and that's really exciting to go to. I walk into that thing, Bernard. Mind blown. Holy cow! You've got model call. You're on stage. You're doing educational classes. You're putting the booth together. You got salespeople. You've got chemists. You've got photographers. You're doing now and then I delve into that. You're writing articles for magazines. You're on TV. You're doing guest appearances on places. You could do stage stuff for Broadway. I mean, TV. All of a sudden you're flying halfway across the world because somebody else in another country. I had the greatest point of my career was I had a translator. A hour and a half, almost 2 hour program took 4.5 hours.
Right. You have to pause
of the delay of translations. And I'm like, wow, I am so tired, but this is awesome.
Right.
The second greatest thing was I had a sign language person, so
that's cool.
It was insane. I have no idea how to sign language. All I saw was, but the woman was keeping up with every single thing coming out of my mouth. And I'm like, man, maybe I should pay attention to how I'm saying things. The fingers understood better than you understand how I say things.
Right. Oh, I'm sure they did. Right.
But I mean, this industry is so massive. There are so many other things going on. It's amazing. I love this industry.
And like you said, even on just a basic level, most people go to school to learn how to do hair, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've got facials, manicures, pedicures, artificial nails, just right there. But then, like you said, TV, Broadway, editorial. There is so many ways. And then today with social media, you can go so much further, so much faster.
I mean, look at us
There's
now.
just so many and you don't have to stay in your town. And that's going to kind of come up in this next topic. Number 3, for me, it might not be for you, but I wish that I didn't just go find the first job of somebody that would hire me and just happen to be somewhere with no plan. It goes back to that plan you talk about. But I wish I would have worked under I would just call it a master stylist, but a very experienced, a very good stylist. I don't care if it was for free or for pay. I would have begged to work for somebody, because you have no idea how much you can learn from that person that you didn't even know you needed to learn. For me, I'm going to list out a few. Like, you go work for an experienced stylist, you're going to learn speed, not even realizing it. You're going to learn how to get new clients, how to maintain clients, how to charge, how to take care of the clients, how to wine and dine them, how to problem solve. All of that stuff that you accidentally figure out from your stupid mistakes over time. My mistakes are real stupid. If you just work under somebody super good, which after 7 or 8 years of me figuring it all out, now all of a sudden I'm really good. I got a good clientele. I hired an assistant, and I watched her go from 0 to hero to amazing in like just a few months. And I was like, okay, I should have did that. She could barely do a man's haircut. Now she left me and went and owned her own salon and doing really good. And I mean, at about 2 years of assisting me. I'm like, okay, girl, it's time to go out on the floor on your own. I'm gonna get a new assistant. She's like, no, I don't. She didn't want to be pushed out of the nest. She was so comfortable, but I'm like, girl, you're actually a little better than me now. You know, you can grow so much bigger and better than me if you want to. I'm okay with that. Let's put you out there. So she did. I got other assistants and it went really well. But watching made me realize I should have did that. And it doesn't have to be in your hometown. Move, go to some other city or state, work under somebody amazing, and just get it through osmosis. What do you think about that?
I think that's an amazing point to make, and I think that carries. I don't think that ever ends.
Right.
Consider this. Because here's a compliment to you. I met you in my late 20s, early 30s. And I still learn from you every time I talk on the phone with you, every time we do one of these things, every time we get together.
Thank you.
You know?
Yeah.
So mentorship is huge. And whether you're mentoring somebody nearby, whether you travel, whether you talk to people halfway, across the country, wherever you need to end up to do it, right?
I forgot to put my studio lights on. Did you see me light up just now?
Yeah. You're
one of my stage hands. His name's RJ. Came in and popped the lights on. God, I do look better, huh? Under light. I'm so sorry for interrupting. I can't believe I just sitting over here in the dark.
That's another thing I learned from you. Always look good. Always got to look good.
Try to, at least. I mean, I definitely cut you off. And I definitely learned from you. Now I know which way acid is on the pH scale. I mean, I had no idea last week. Stay humble. My next one, you just kind of went into it, was stay educated. Number 4.
Stay educated, yeah.
Is stay educated. Do you know, you talked about something early on in this live about keeping up your hours. Not every state's like that. I'm in Louisiana. We don't have continuing education hours. Many states do not have. You graduate, you're done, and you think, not everybody does this, but most people are like, I hated that school so much. I didn't get paid. They used me. I worked for free. I had to pay them. I got a job that pays now. I'm done with school. So some people have that bad attitude. I'm done with education, and you don't do it. And when you're in a state like mine, where they don't require it, you don't even think about it. I literally stopped, and for that first 5 years, might be why it took me 7 years to get good at hair, I had no education after school. I literally sat in a salon and did nails mostly and just screwed up some haircuts until eventually, I forgot to put my do not disturb on. I'm getting all kind of messages. Until eventually I got good at it. So I know it can happen, but it just takes longer. Why take longer? So stay educated, not just online and on the YouTubes, as Eddie calls it. You got to get some
Facebook,
live.
the YouTubes.
Yeah, you got to get some live education, go to hair shows, advanced classes. And I did some videos recently about focus, or do you do everything? Because I believe it can be very confusing for a new hairdresser who hears, you got to focus on something, be an expert, just hone in on one thing or 2 or 3 things. And then somebody else says, keep getting educated, learn everything there is to learn. And you're like, wait, those are opposites. And so I've kind of, once you get there, I say there, I mean, there's still a long ways to go, but I'm so grateful to be far from school and can look back and say, hey guys, let me help you out a little bit, at least get a little further down the road as I look for mentors like you to get even further down the road. You're never there. You're never there. But I look back and I think, let me do this real quick. I'm sorry. I look back and I think, how do you know what to focus on if you don't try a bunch of things? So it has a lot to do with you and I never did an updo or did one and failed at it. You've got to do those stupid things you think you don't like in school. You've got to get a lot of education, go to a lot of classes, do all kind of things at first, find out what you like, where your passion is, and then maybe you focus on one or two or three things. Like I focused on hair extensions and hair replacement. But I did airbrush tanning, I did waxing, I even did eyelash extensions for a little bit. I mean, go ahead. What did you want to say about that? Oh, look, I caught you while you drinking.
I thought it was a good moment. It's I wish I knew that I would know nothing coming out of school. You know,
Right.
I was so set up. I thought I was good to go. And that is a huge point, right? It is the greatest compliment to me. There's one person I got to do a shout out to, Paula, for example. She, every
okay.
single time she takes one of my classes, I speak to her, I answer one of her questions. She always says to me, I learned more from you in this conversation than I did in my entirety of school, right? The first class I did with her, she said, I learned more from you than I did in the past 10 years of my career. And I feel that way too when I'm studying things, when I'm looking things up, when I go to classes myself, when we brainstorm on things. It's so amazing, especially when we're looking up statistics and stuff. You know, I like all that data. I love data. And it just blows my mind how little we still know. and I wish I was prepared for that, because
Right.
at first I wasn't open-minded. I got angry. I'm like, what the, you know, like, why? I didn't do it, but it's like, why? You know, why did I not know this? Why was I not prepared? And now as
Right.
every minute I think I'm more prepared, I find out I'm even less prepared. There's so much more still to learn. So that's something
Right.
I wish. Education is huge. It
Yeah.
never ends.
It never ends. It's true. It does never end. And it's interesting to me to realize that you can finally focus, and then there's a whole bunch of education in that focus, wherever you decide. I mean, I know a common name for what we do is a stylist. I was blown away when I found out on a movie set, I'm not the stylist. I'm the hairdresser, because the stylist dresses the actor. I'm like, wait, what? Clothing? That's a stylist? Yeah, that's the person who styles the actor, puts clothes on them. They stole my title. They stole my title. And I thought that's fascinating when we met a friend in the movie industry, and we go, we start learning about all that, how it works on the movie set. Completely different, a whole different line of work that you can do if you like it. Then you have to study period hair. You have to know how to do those things that they wanted us to do in school. In our state, they wanted us to do finger waves, which I've never done again after school. But if I was going on a movie set in a certain era where they did finger waves, I would have to know how to do them. So that might be something somebody loves, is old fashioned or all the fashions of hair to make the movies look right. Very fascinating to me. I tried it, but I just wasn't good enough. So I kind of gave that up. So the last topic I'm going to bring up, which I didn't think was so controversial, but it's been so controversial between you and I, between me and my stylist in the salon. And you know how Eddie likes to be prepared for everything, guys. You can tell by his face right now. He looks just like my new puppy with his head turning sideways. Like, what the heck is this guy going to say? Because
I am so scared.
I told him, I said, I'm not giving. I said, he goes, hey, you want to talk about those topics? I said, you know what? I got all 5. I'll bring them up. You'll have enough to say about them. We've talked about all of them over the last few weeks. He just doesn't know which 5 I picked. And it's driving you crazy. Number 5.
I should have bribed you with a coffee is what I should have done.
In the beginning. Free hair in the beginning. Should you do free hair or should you not?
Oh, okay.
And Eddie was he was very passionate about what he had to say yesterday. I think I turned him, guys. I turned him. I wish you guys could have heard the conversation we had about free hair, because he, just like many new stylists I hire, trying to build the clientele, and I talk about them doing free hair, and they're like, I'm not doing hair for free. I already did that in school. I get it. And I don't want you to have to do free hair either.
How about this? Let me let me say my argument, because it might be in line with a lot of other people's arguments, and then let them hear your rebuttal, your response, because it really did open my mind up, right?
Right, and y'all are all wrong, but go ahead.
The pain is when you get out of school, you're so look, I don't know every state, but I could tell you this way. The when I had to perform my services, we had a card, and you had to perform, 120 haircuts and 160 hair colors, whatever. There was X amount of services that you needed to perform and be done by the time you graduated school, right? You had to do X amount per week, per month. Okay.
Right.
It was pulling teeth to get that done because I had 6,000 roller sets. I had 2 haircuts and 3 hair colors. It just wasn't a thing. So we were bribing, we were pulling people from left and right. We were trying to get desperately everybody in to get it done. I hate feet.
How long did school take you? 1 year, 2 years, 1.5?
It took me a year and a half because I was going at nighttime. I was working full time during the day.
No excuses. Year and a half. That's fine. I just wanted to know about how long.
Yeah, it took me about a year and a half.
Yeah. So free or no?
Yeah, I had to. No. I was paying people to come in to get their hair done. Not only was I not doing free, I was putting money out of my pocket, bribing people to come let me do their hair because they're like, oh, you're a student in school. I don't want you to mess it up my hair. I'm like, damn, I just need to get this done. So when I finished school, I had bills to pay. I had things to do. I had loans. I needed money. I was so desperate. I was chasing. That was the problem. I was chasing money. I was desperate, you know. So for me to do a free service, I was of the mindset of, what profit am I going to make if I do a free service? So if I do one person for free, that person needs to bring me 2 other people, because the first person I do from the referral from the free person would be kind of like wash itself out. The second person,
if you did one free and they brought somebody to pay, you felt like that was a wash, so you needed a second one to pay, to
make a profit, to make it feel like, oh, I did a client for free. I actually made something out of. I got something out of doing something for free. That was my complete mindset.
There is nothing wrong with that mindset of getting the referral, but the big part of the story that I found when we talked about this yesterday, that I feel like you didn't see or talk about the long-term benefit of having even just that one client. And most of my stylists don't see it either. It's about, if you do that first person for free, if you do a really good job, they buy retail, they come back again, they tip. I mean, there's a lot of benefit just in that one free client. And when I have new stylists in the salon and they're right out of school or apprenticing and not that good, they need to do some free work to build practice, speed, just get experience, learn how to be a better stylist. And generally, all those other things happen. But even if they just get to be a better stylist and that client comes back and pays again and again and again and again, then you've built a clientele off of that one person being free. So here's worst case scenario. In a perfect world, it doesn't happen like this. Let's say you work 40 hours a week and you reschedule your clients about every 4 weeks. I know some go 5-6 weeks, some go months. But let's say you work for 40 hours 1 week and you do it again the next week, and you do a free client every hour. That's 40 clients this week, 40 the next week. That's 80. So let's double it and go 4 weeks. 160 clients total over 4 weeks. You did nothing but free work for four weeks in a row. Then it repeats and they're all paying. So you could technically be booked solid in 4 weeks. It's not that easy. You can't get free people to come in every single hour, all day, every day, all week long. We've tried it. It's hard. It's hard enough to get 2 or 3 free a day. But if you think about it like that, in no time, I'm saying 4 weeks. Is that about how often most people have clients come back?
4 to 6 weeks, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could just fill up that 4 to 6 weeks with free clients that you did a great job on, generally they're sending you referrals if you're any good. That usually is not the first week or two. It's usually the 3rd or 4th week where you're getting better, you're building your speed, you're getting you're learning how to talk to them better, and you're doing what you just said. You're learning how to get referrals out of it. So to me, if I were going to pay money to market or advertise and put it on the YouTubes or Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, I do hair, come see me, they may or may not come. I don't know if that money's ever going to pay off. So if I do free hair in today's world, I can take pictures of them before and after. I can post them all over the place for free. Don't have to pay for marketing and say, look what I did. And so I can turn a free person into referrals through, hopefully they post it on their Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all those things, and they get people to come in, but I can't be guaranteed of that. So I post it on mine also and ask them to post it and ask them to buy retail, make their next appointment, and possibly send me their brother, sister, mother. And then let's take it a step further. If you're going to work free for about a month or two to get kick-started,
okay,
you choose what service you want to get paid for next month. So give away this month what you want to start making next month. That's when everything changed for me. You can give away free haircuts and be a haircut king or queen next month. But I gave away free foil highlights, way bigger ticket item. Took me a little longer, so I wasn't doing one every hour. I was doing one every 2 hours because I was very slow back then, about 2.5 hours in the very beginning. And so I was only doing 3 or 4 a day. But at the end of a few weeks, I had so many referrals, so many reschedules, so many people coming back. Within 2 to 3 months, I was booked solid and making killer money. So
yeah, that's cool.
That was something I accidentally did later in life. I started off the wrong way, took the 7 years to get good, all that kind of stuff. But many, many years later, I decided to, I had a bunch of hairdressers working in the salon. I thought I'm going to be a manager. I tried to just quit doing hair, gave all my clients away and tried to just manage. Made a few mistakes in owning a business, and I had a big salon walkout. I had nothing going on. It was just me and my salon with one other stylist.
Oh, wow.
I said, all right, let's do this thing. And that's where I learned free work can build you a clientele. Now, for me, it was October, November, and December, the 3 busiest months of the year, towards the end of the year, holidays. I started giving away free foil highlights, as many as I could fit on my book. And by the end of the year, actually by the middle of that program, I do it as a program now. At 6 weeks, I was booked solid. If I had any openings here and there, I'd still take in a free 1 or 2. My philosophy was for 3 months, I'll do free work if it can be booked on my book. But if people call in and book for money, obviously I'm not bumping them, but I wouldn't bump free or bump paying. Whatever it took to be booked solid all the way through the end of the year, October, November, December, I would take it. By December, I had to start raising my prices in January to get some of those clients to stop coming to me because I had too many clients. Now, I did it later in life where I had the skill, the confidence, the speed, the verbal skills. So I could talk it through. It's like, hey, I love your hair. I'd love to do it. And they're like, oh, yeah, really? Why? I could talk to them about why. And then all of a sudden, I said, you know what? I had taken a year off, a little sabbatical. I didn't say I had a walkout. I said, took a little time off. I'm doing good in life. And I thought I'd take some time off. I'm getting back into it. And I was surprised to see all my clients didn't come running back to me. They already had other stylists. So I'm having to start over. So I've been here forever. I'm really good. I tell you what, I'll do your hair first time on the house. Now, I'm hoping you'll buy the products you need to maintain your hair. Obviously, tip me if you like what's going on, but I'm really expecting you to reschedule next appointment and pay full price then. But let's do that first one for free and see how it goes. And they're like, okay. So I was doing that every day. And after 3 to 5 a day, it changed my life. And now I help other stylists do the same.
It makes sense. And that's a long-term plan, you know? And at the end of the day, and I know this now in my life, and I know this now in my career, always have a plan or a program, how you refer to it as, and follow that through. Don't just do something for the instant gratification, that instant moment, and don't chase the money. The money will come. If you're chasing the money, you're always running. If you just sit back and relax, it will come. Good talk. That's 5. We got to go, guys. Nice. All right, guys. Thank you so much. As always.
Buy me a coffee.
Buy Bernardo coffee.
I have no coffee today.
Hit us up with the comments. Let us know what else y'all think, what you like. And you know what? I'd be interested to know what are some of the things you guys wish you knew.
What to put on the list?
Yeah, throw it in the comments. Let us know.
What would you put on the list? What do you wish you knew when you graduated school?